These two always manage to get right in the way. I'm putting the pots down right where they're stood. They've got the whole rest of the tunnel, and every time they sit where you want to be.
We finished the last series of the English nursery garden year in the winter, so I suppose it's only fitting we start the next bugger in the winter. Welcome to Plantsmans Diaries. Might not be to everybody's taste. It certainly won't be PC. Now this is an interesting thing. This has always been a problem. It's a centrepiece in the middle of the garden. What we're trying to do here is create a new one, like the one I did at Eggleston, but with apples. Obviously I'm going to use Katie apples again, but I'm going to use a slightly more vigorous rootstock. Now, the problem I have here is that the land slopes. If I put the apples, when I train them, they're going to be step overs and they're going to go up and fall on windows like an arbour. But if I make it on the level, it just accentuates the slope of the garden. I'm not too worried about that. But you need to make use of what we've got. So I've got an old breweriana in the middle that's never done anything. So I'm going to strip it down and then get hold of some large bamboo canes. I was going to use these 3x3s, but they're just so unsympathetic looking, aren't they? To sort of make the structure. So I think I'm just going to use bamboo canes. Set them into some sort of tubing with grit so that they don't rot as readily. If they last 5 years, the apples will eventually hold themselves. So you don't need anything as permanent as these 3x3s and meta posts. Anyway, let's get on with the... I don't like hard landscaping. It's pretty hard work and it requires a lot of working out. So we're just going to work as best we can by eye and with the contours of the ground. Some idea. I sometimes find that it's best if you just have an idea of what you're doing and work around it. But obviously we have to do the structural things first and get this garden clean. But because this is going to be a centrepiece, I want to have some idea of what it is I'm working around and what I'm going to do with the middle of it. I haven't thought that far yet. Down the bottom of the garden, further down here where we get down there in time, and down in the summer house, my neighbour's having a new drive built. You've already heard the diggers and things. But the roof is asbestos. It's a big old barn. So it's just about going to be moved now. All of these old trees are going, which will be good. I think we'll have some sort of fence there then. Right. But there's a lot of work going to be going on down this end. Not necessarily here, but next door. So the only work that's going to be done soon is re-roofing that somewhere else. These two trees at the top that are going to be the entrance, the drop to the middle two here and on the other side is 4 inches. So I need to prune the front trees 4 inches shorter than these. These here, in turn, the drop between these and the point one, the point tree, is 8 inches. So these have got to be 8 inches shorter than that one. So it's 12 inches altogether. 8 inches from this point tree to the two middle ones, and then another 4 inches from those to the front ones. So we'll use the height that this is now. This is 30 inches. The ones in the middle will have to be 22 inches, and the ones at the front will have to be 18 inches. That should give us a level tier of step overs. Hopefully, anyway. Okay, it's another glorious day. This is having a bit of a prune up in here. You can see these little apple trees we were talking about earlier. Now I'm using a kind of mattock thing, a cross between a pick and a mattock. It's not the greatest thing in the world, it's very old and it's worn. But I'm getting one out at a time. Oh, there it is. I feel like William Tell in his crossbow. But it's a bit heavy for that. But it's a bit knackering for me to be swinging that too much. So I'm sort of trying to do one a day. I had to really prune up of this sorbus just to raise the canopy, lift the skirt, but I get in trouble for saying that. There is a lovely Prunus cerula tibetica, you know, the polished bark cherry here, but it's not viewable because of all the stinking ivy on it. But you can see how lovely and shiny it is. But up here you don't see any of it. You can see when I take it off, you've got all these marks from the ivy. I think they will disappear in a year or so. I hope so anyway, but we must get rid of that. It's split into 2 sections. I'm going to leave one for a year, and if the other breaks away, then I might cut that one back as well, just to sort of lower the height of it. But I'll use that as a kind of sapsucker. That is to pull up sap and, you know, make sure the tree doesn't die. It's got some leaf factory to photosynthesize and feed the rest of it. I think this one's breaking away okay. I did it a year or 2 back and I've had to do it again. This sorbus, it's lovely. It's Joseph Rock and the birds love it. I've had to prune that back a bit. So we have lots more brushwood. Now several people have wrote to me and asked me about this strimmer. Oh, I've done it again. Shredder. Fucking strimmer. It's a shredder. Very expensive piece of kit. It does okay. I wasn't that impressed with it to start with, but as I've got used to using it, I'm finding it's pretty good. I'll do a little video in a minute. Look, here's a little M9 apple tree. It's about, I don't know, compare it to my wrist. It's about half as thick as my wrist. I'd say about 25 centimetres across, and there's a whole colquitzia here. So if I film this from a distance, you'll see how it works. There's a few bits here. There's a bit of old carrier that's come through from the neighbour's garden. I don't like it, but the bugger comes through. But it doesn't matter. I'm not bothered, I just cut it off. Carrier, there's a little bit of apple, and that colquitzia, and we'll see how it does. Okay, so let's give this a go. Shouldn't be too difficult. Yeah, you can see what it's worth. Just make it clear, I don't get product placement. I have absolutely no interest in whether it's good or not with any product. Okay, there you go. Look at that. You can see. Seems all right. Oh, so there we are. That was probably 7 minutes of the most boring stuff I've ever put on YouTube. But, excuse me, I'm out of breath. But it's okay. It's done a really good job of all the deciduous stuff. It's not great on the coniferous stuff. I think it's because it's fresh and green and it's probably clogging it up. It just doesn't seem to work as well on that. If anybody's got any experience, probably need to put it through with some of the shrub stuff, some of the deciduous stuff as well. But it just doesn't seem to cope with that as well. But on the other stuff, it's magnificent. You just stick it in. Sometimes I'm putting it in and the bits are a bit too wide, so you need to watch that. So it pulls it through, but this is only about 9 inches wide, so, you know, if the branches have a divide in them, a crotch, and it's not angled right, the knobbly bits get stuck in here. But other than that, it's fine. It's really good. Whether it's worth the £400, only time will tell. It's a strong thing. I've seen people, and I've used other shredders, that they're as noisy as hell. This isn't too bad at all. And well, they just fall over and they're a bit tinny. It depends how much stuff you've got. It cope with stuff 25, 30 centimetres, and I've had stuff 40 centimetres go through it. So I had no problem at all. And any downsides? Not really. The width is much restricted by the jaws of this chute. Maybe these, whatever they are on here, these signs, could be maybe a different colour, like the Bosch is in red. The trademark is in red and silver. If those signs were in silver, we'd be able to see them. With my eyes are terrible, and I can't see them that well. You probably can. It's probably not a problem for you or most people, but for me, no, it's I can't see them very well. They could just be more pronounced. Other than that, it's simple, it's minimal. You don't have to overthink it. It's pretty bloody obvious what you do. You just read the instructions book. That's not too difficult. This knob here tightens up the chute. The chute comes off. It packs away. I'll show you when it's packed away. It makes just a nice little thing. You could put it under your potting shed bench or whatever. Yeah, it's great. I can imagine if I was doing private gardening, you know, odd jobs here and there, I'd take it around with me. Yeah, if you know you're in a town garden and it's very hard to dispose of stuff these days. That's the thing. And as far as the chippings go, you know, they're as good as as what you put in, and you can see the coniferous stuff there, the Breweriana, which I'm loath to get rid of, but it's just not thrived there. Yeah. So we're starting to make some headway in here now. There's just so much more clearing to do, so I'm going to crack on with that today. And that's Sunniside for this week, I think. I'm knackered, to be honest.
Here I was getting a load of compost in, and then I come across that in the within the pallet of
It's dead, it's not sleeping. Poor thing. I mean, I don't like rats, but it must have just, was it suffocated or?
yeah. Oh, well, yeah, it was hardly squashed.
Yeah. Oh, that's awful. I suppose it was shrink wrapped or something afterwards. Oh well.
You want it there? Do you want it?
It's funny how dogs, they won't eat rats.
Mm.
You know, if they catch a rabbit, they'll eat it. But if they catch a rat, they just leave it. And they have a different shaking process. Is yours like that?
Yeah, till he won't ever eat one.
This is the very start of our season really with the Easter seedlings. Massive rotate in the ground to get it ready to put the seed beds in again and sow all the seeds. So we've come full circle now. There's a few left, a couple of beds left there from last year with some little ones in, but they're being dug up and potted, so you can pot in them. And this will be fresh beds, this year's beds, with all the seeds that we took last year. So off we go again. Long may it continue. Look who's coming. Coming to see if we're getting on with things.
Morning.
Morning. Have you had a tough weekend, Law?
It's empty.
Life is empty. What, you've just emptied it?
Yeah.
Do you realise it's only Monday morning?
Yeah, exactly. Wake up, stare in a fag. Not
No,
me.
you don't.
I don't smoke.
She doesn't drink either.
I don't smoke.
Oh, much, eh?
No, I don't smoke.
No, you don't smoke.
Oh, there's a
No.
car coming in.
Oh, is that our first customer?
Customer, everyone look busy.
Okay, right, quick. Okay. Well, I don't know if you remember, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I showed you some frozen pots in our small retail tunnel. I was tapping them with a bamboo cane. The top of the pot, all the soil was completely frozen, and I think we'd had -2, -3 overnight. Well, these are the plants here. I'm going to repot them and put them into 3 litres. They're in a litre pot, and as you can see, the roots are all nice and fresh looking, and there's even little tiny new white thread roots there. So I'm going to repot these, and hopefully they'll go back in the retail tunnel and come out into leaf. There's absolutely no reason why they shouldn't. We normally pot from a 1 to a 3. If you go too big, acers don't like it. They prefer to be a little bit more pot bound. Although Laura the other day was actually potting some 1s straight into 5s, which is unusual, but it's just where we had no potting done last year because of COVID. We actually had plants that were really pot bound. So because it's fairly early, we were hoping, or we should get away with potting them into a larger size pot than we would normally. Ideally, you want to go from a 1 to a 3, and from a 3 to a 7.5, and then from a 7.5 to, you could probably get away with going to a 15 then, but you need to move them up gradually. Acers don't like to be in a lot of soil for the winter without their roots in. So if you pot them sort of March time, they've got all the spring and summer to root round and the autumn to go into winter. That's one called Sazanami, which is a very pretty one. It's got a smallish leaf, and it's sort of got like a line stripe almost in the leaf. Comes out this lovely gold with a red edge, and then it'll mature to a green for the summer, and then change colour again, orange red in the autumn. Not too fast a grower, so that's quite a nice one. Oh, these pots, second-hand pots, they stick together. Not ideal, but that's all we've got at the moment. So yeah, so off we go again. Another season, hopefully we'll be really busy. We've had lots of inquiries, and some thankfully to Malcolm for popping us on his YouTube channel. We've had some really nice people phone, and hopefully they're going to come in. We did have a lady and husband and wife come in last year, which it was really funny because she said to us, or she said to me, you know, when your husband doesn't come on to bed and it's about 2:30 in the morning, she said, you go down thinking that they're probably watching porn. Well, she said, I went crept downstairs. She said, my husband was watching Malcolm on YouTube. I thought that was quite funny. And then there was one customer that phoned up. He watched the first one, and he said because of the swearing on it, he carried on watching the rest of them, and he's now hooked. So I thought that was quite funny as well. So, yeah, go get some laughs out of life, haven't you? Right, I must get on.
Bad day on the nursery today.
Well, hopefully Alice's counts as 3.
3. Bad luck. I'm trying to do some potting. We've just filled up the bench and it's collapsed. But I'm determined to carry on.
As though nothing has happened. Carry on potting, Law.
Might get backache. Yes. I'm potting litre dissectors into 5 litre pots. Yes, there you are.
Trials and tribulations, eh?
Need a step ladder. Good. What was the other one? Oh, the truck, Alice.
The truck not starting, Alice's car not starting, and now the bench collapsing.
There you go. First one! Hooray! I need a trolley. That's your job. You can trolley them.
Yes, boss.
Now we need some ply. There might be some marine ply down the house.
No, that got put in the stable, I think. So what are you doing, Bo? Are you helping with the potting? You helping Mummy with the potting now?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what are you potting?
What are you putting?
I'm putting cactus.
What did he say? Pantheas. Oh, that's nice. Pantheas. Oh. Pantheas. Yes, obviously a new one we didn't know about.
I had a cover
Very
on
smart.
for
Say again?
We've not had a cover on for a year. I'm struggling.
Eh?
I'm struggling. I don't normally struggle. Oh, here you go.
What are you struggling with?
Just life in
In
general.
reality.
Life and reality.
Sleep deprivation, haven't you?
That's alright, I just need to
Having
get one.
baby number
It's
2.
not working.
Baby number 2 in my mum's Silver Cross pram that Laura inherited. My mum, she wheeled, my mum died, yeah. She wheeled 4 of us up and down the road in that
My husband
years
died.
ago.
I don't know if you know that as well.
Laura.
The dog's still going, but
The the dog's still going. But,
I was checking for a Sunday roast that day.
Pigeon Matthew shot the other day, that
dog.
died.
are you taking the out of me?
Just put it down so the little seam just goes on the edge.
It wasn't locking off, it was just slipping. Operator error. We've tidied. Tidier.
This is Laura helping Matthew put the new tunnel cover on. One of about 8 I think we lost over the last 18 months. Should have been done this time last year really. But because of COVID it wasn't. Are you alright under there, Laura? You alright? No, she's not speaking so she can... Not much at all. Not much at all.
Oh, I'm so upset. My arms are struggling.
quite heavy.
Yeah, you stood there with the pencil. I had no sleep.
No, nor did I. The dogs woke me up at 2:10.
Right, well, how much is left in the world after finish?
Nothing.
Is that it? Ask me if that's it.
Yes, you did say that was it. Go and have a cup of coffee. Oops.
Yeah, it's not opening it up, mate.
I said this is what happens when you've only got one male on working on the nursery. And you said, oh, you so are, Laura. You so are. Wait. It's one benefit of being an oldie. You don't have to climb up there anymore.
Walk in the pole. You have to walk in the pole on the end. Eh? See if we can get it over.
The pole's bolted on.
Done all our health and safety checks.
When was that? About 50 years ago. We're only joking, of course. Oh, you're going to cut the blue sky out. What you don't want now is a little gust of wind. A little zephyr.
I'm going to have to go back.
As soon as I can reach it, I'll hold
I'd like
it.
to see you do that bit.
What, you think that happened?
Well, your bar was a lot lower.
Eh?
Your bar was a lot lower.
Oh yeah, but you always set your bar high, you know.
Oh, I've got no expectations. I've got no expectations.
This is the first catch or something.
Yeah,
As they get old.
Maggie.
break. A feeding break. Leaving Matthew to do the work on his own.
At least it stayed really nice, so
Yeah,
you've got the cover on.
day.
Perfect days, a bit of breeze, clear blue sky.
Can you see it?
The baby?
Yeah.
Where is the baby?
Camouflage.
Oh yeah, I could just see the top of his head. Oh. Right, the dogs are sleeping. One there, oh, one there. Dare I ask how it's going?
Fine, yeah. I just struggle with his height.
With the height?
Couple of
No,
reality.
I'm just the height and the angle of sitting. Have you just started?
No,
Maggie?
I thought perhaps. Oh, for fuck's sake.
No one, please. A bit too close. What are you doing? Right, first angle.
Fuck me, you're special.
Yeah, it's the wrong angle. The sun's glaring in the eyes. Who started then?
Me! Don't get full way in.
What's it?
You'd hear mine.
We've got that one. Right, ready?
Yeah.
It's like Bo banging nails in.
Actually,
He actually does it very well.
I'd rather that go on.
Thank you.
I have to say, after the last couple of days, Laura's not the only one with a wind problem. We've had nothing but gales here for the weekend. This Formium I'm having out, I don't know why it's in here. If there is one thing that never says to me English country garden, it is the Formium or the Cordyline. I know some people are really keen on them, but I am not one of those people. Anyway, we are making quite a bit of progress, so in a couple of weeks you should see some real change here, especially as I'm about to start over on the pig house and clearing this vine. So hopefully you'll actually see, whoa, what I mean when I'm talking about the pig house. But that's for next time. This is a good example of why you don't throw seed away too quickly. Or this last year, the end of 2019, we sowed some Eggleston. It's a notoriously difficult thing to find viable seed off, and we got a few plants. Well, these are the plants here. You can see some are shorter than others, and others are long. The seed came from about 2 or 3 different trees that we know. In theory, we sowed hundreds of them in the hope that we'd get a few. And yeah, it's these are them, those ones. But a year on from when we were pricking them out, the first one is there's another one that's germinated. So we might get 1 or 2 more out of that yet. Now, there was a seed tray that we'd slung to one side. We hadn't thrown it out, but we'd sort of forgotten about it. And it was an inch deep in liverwort and crap. So I've scraped all the liverwort off and brought it back into some warmth. It was in the shade house. And we'll just leave it and see if anything happens. But when you consider that when these trees are 5 or 6 years old, they're worth around 40, 50 pounds or more, depending on the vigour of them. Some of them, it's that one seedling is potentially quite a good return on it, if we can nurture it for half a dozen years. Although if you say you look after something for 5 or 6 years, £40 doesn't seem so much. But if you say that plant is £40 straight off to somebody when they see one at 2 or 3 feet tall, they go, oh God, that's expensive. Yeah. Never mind, that's our lot, isn't it? I wouldn't sell these at the moment because they're so, what would I sell it for? I mean, I get so few of them that you really, I need to grow it on to make any money out of them. I need, and make a living, you need to grow them to a decent size, which is several years. If I sold that for a tenner, people say, oh, that little pot there, £10. But potentially for me, if I hold on to it for 5 years, it's worth 40, 50, 60 pounds. So, as I've explained to people before, it would be like selling your seed corn. I'm a nurseryman and my job is to grow finished trees. It's just that some things take a long time to finish. I wish they were all as quick as a clematis cutting. These are some little alpinas that we did in the end of last year. Or lupins. Never mind. Well, this is nice, isn't it? I've had a birthday present from Amanda. It's my birthday today, the 24th of March. 65. Don't know where it's all gone. But let's have a look what she sent me some eggs. British eggs. I think she's sending me them because they're rotten. Look, they're out of date on the 12th of March. I'll have to just, yeah, I'll have to get rid of them. Never mind. It's the thought that counts. Well, we're a week further on, and while we've done a lot of slashing, we haven't done a lot of burning till now. Doing all right. I'm not too worried about the damage it's going to cause to those hazels because I'm going to coppice them back anyway. Other than that, everything's fine. Just this old ash tree. This is pollarded down some years ago and it's just too big. So we're going to have to hit this today and try and clear some of the stuff that we got out last week. It's just what we have to do, I'm afraid. It'd be nice to get this all this rubbish sorted out. One of the things I can't do is shred any of this pyracantha or these old brambles here, because the nature of the shredder, it chops them up rather fine. Well, it doesn't chop them up too finely, just chips them more than anything. And if I put them down on the pads, the dogs are going to be forever getting them in their paws. Oh, I don't want that. The fire is spread from the inside of the incinerator to a pile on the outside. I'm not too bothered. You might not need to bother with the incinerator, so I'll just take it out. So this is where the big ash tree was that was covered in ivy. You can see we've cleared out a lot of stuff down this bottom now. Now what else have we got here? I've cut it off at about 4 foot. I haven't got a long enough chainsaw to go through it, but what I have done is cut it off, fall it onto the fire. There's all the ivy and various bits of logs and things. The fire's been going a couple of days now, and I've just carved in a little seat here. This will last a few years. There's nothing much to it really. It'll rot off. I might put a couple of stepping stones or stone slabs on the top, but at the moment it can just stay as it is. It's nice to sit on. I'm going to sit on it now, you see. Parked my ass on there. And you just need to wedge a couple of bits of stone underneath it, backfill it a bit. But yeah, you can see now that we've done a lot of slashing and now we've done a lot of burning. Going up through here is a lot easier. Now over the course of the winter, the summer, I have to keep this clear and put in some structures. You can see this is where the apple tree arbour is going to go. I still have this to clear out, this old wooden arbour and all that up through the trees there, that vine, and then I hope to get into there to get the pig house out. Believe it or not, there is a stone building in there. It looks rather bleak. These trees are just the taller layer. These are the upper layer. They're fine, but what we need now is to sorry, I'm knackered. what we need now is to get it clean. Once we get it clean, we can then concentrate on turning over the soil and planting with the nice things that we want to put in. Definitely, look at this bloody dog Mercury. See, that's got to go. And you can see there's Lysimachia there. And with the Lysimachia and nettles, I can't fart around with that. It's just got to all go, and then there's grass. We have to start with a clear canvas. There's lots of bits and pieces that are still to go, these old hypericums that seed around. We don't want them. Maybe clear out the bottom of this. I can see it's dead at the bottom, and it won't take 5 minutes to clear out. This is a peony, Mlokosviciana, or Molly the Witch as they call it. There's a little potentilla there, but we need to get rid of that as well. Anyway, that's the update. While it looks bare, once we get some leaves on the surrounding trees, it will soon enclose itself. I've got the ivy off of this prunus as well, which is particularly nice. I'll probably reduce the other half next year. There's a sorbus there that is way too tall, but it's a beauty, Joseph Rock, bright yellow berries. So much to do, and really I'm not retired until the end of summer, so it's going to be a bit here and a bit there, but if we can just work on it, the rest of it will be Eggleston. As you can see, there's quite a stripped out feel to the garden now. Just on the subject of daphnes, oh, it's very windy today again. This is Daphne Missourium. Daphne Missourium is, it's okay. It doesn't really have much of a scent. I've used it as a rootstock in the past for other daphnes, particularly retusa, which is quite slow, but very slow from seed, but it has the most exquisite scent. Now, I don't like this one. But compared to its the type species, the deep rose one, it just doesn't cut it for me. And like a lot of white flowers, if it gets a little bit of water on it, rain, they tend to go brown. But yeah, it's quite rare, but no scent. This has been in here about 20 years. It's about 2.5 to 3 foot tall. However, and in an entirely different situation, this is Daphne Missourium. Just that's it, the type species, straight Daphne Missourium. Isn't that lovely? It doesn't have the brownness as it goes over that the white does. Well, it probably does, but it just doesn't show up as much. The colour sort of hides it. It's lovely, but no scent. You can't have everything. No idea. These are on the outside of the wall at Eggleston, and they're just self-sowed or self-sown hellebores. No idea what they are. I mean, I could hazard a guess, but if they're self-sown seeds, you just really, they're just hybrids. It looks a bit like Corsicus, I suppose, over there. But these are, they're just nice. Isn't it amazing how things just sort themselves out? nature soon takes over. There's another lovely little clump here. The problem is with a lot of hellebores, it's hard to see the beauty of the flower because they hang their heads as if shy. I keep getting my finger in the way of this lens. I don't know why. Anyway, these are a lovely little early flowering plant. This is Lathyrus vernus. Beautiful little thing. Lovely apple blossom colours. It'll make a much bigger clump than this. This is these are just young plants. This is their second year from seed, so yeah, they're very good. They add a lovely bit of colour, and once they clump up, they're really nice and very reliable. We have a blue one as well, which is just as nice, except it's blue. Well, we are starting to fill up now. It's 2 or 3 weeks since I last filmed the nursery. Starting to get people about. There's a bloke in a red hat there. So we're starting to fill up. The perennial sections are looking nicer. And then you come up. There's a lot of Iris siberica there, really just starting to move. Nice big pots. They're going to make handsome clumps in your garden. Very few fruit trees. We've got lots of maidens, but very few 2-year-olds. Some nice quince, but a shortage of young apples. Oh, a couple of dozen, but that's about it. The rest are all maidens. It's just a question of, it's quite windy as well today. It's just a question of allowing this stuff to grow in. The denticulatas, the drumsticks, they're drumstick primulas, they're starting to look really nice now. Go and have a little look. We're starting to put out some grasses. We have a lot more to do, but there's a little few there now. Inside the shade hall we have Trilliums. Let's have a look at the Trilliums. You know, here. I think, as I've told you before, these were sown in 2012, so you're looking at 9 years now. Just starting to come into flower. Look at the lovely mottling on those leaves. They are going to be so handsome. Look at that over there. I'm really pleased with these. You have to wait a bloody long time for them. But all of them have got flower buds on there, looking really good. I'm very happy with this. Look at that. Look at that there. I'm going to have to pull out some of these because I don't want to sell them. And there we go round. There's some cowslips, primulas. These are the ones that we cut back. I think I've probably filmed these earlier on, but they're just starting to move now. It's about three or 4 weeks since we trimmed them back, and you can see they're not fully open yet, but they're starting to really look nice, and the foliage is reduced somewhat so that you get the sense of the flowers. That's Valentine, I think. Oh God, look. Here's some fuckers, put that there. Oh God. There's some willows here. There's a contorted willow. And the Kilmarnock willows. They're primarily grown in for small gardens where you often see them in the middle of front gardens. Yeah. I wouldn't want one. They do have nice pussy willows on there, you know. So it's catching in the wind. I've actually come to film your feet.
Film my feet?
Yeah, look at them.
Them's proper.
They're very handsome, John.
You know they say about size 11s, don't you?
No?
Alright, I can't tell you then.
Is it something to do with big feet and
How
big
well you
ears?
can walk across water, yeah. Don't film me backside, no.
Oh, I can't get it all in the camera, John.
No, you need a wide angle lens for that.
And these are all, John's been potting up some Veronicas, the little prostrate Veronicas. They're very nice actually, spode blue. We'll come back and have a look at these when they're in flower. Very popular.
Am I doing a good job?
No, it's fucking useless.
Course,
No, of course it's a good job, John. Yeah, it makes a change for you to be out in the garden and doing some potting.
Yeah, well, trained to do it.
Well, yeah, so we might as well use you.
Yep. In amongst the sleet and
The snow.
snow and yeah.
Right,
Crack on. A few more
Yeah.
100 to do.
I must get away because I'm getting dazzled by those shoes.
I know.
Hello, sweetins.
Yeah, so, like, we're not good for you in the potting shed then?
No,
Not good enough for
I'd
you?
rather do the al fresco potting in the pissing wet and hailing.
What's wrong with it?
It's actually been tolerable, you know. I can just bang the radio on. No one bothers me. I
You've
know
had that
customers. I don't have to bother about the shop or the bell. I can just have the radio blaring out.
Oh, that's good, isn't it? But it's that bloody old Radio 1, I can't stand that.
What was John talking about then needing a wide angle lens for?
His knob.
Oh, I just assumed like being John, I thought it was maybe his forehead you need a wide angle lens for, but no.
No. Go on then, what are you doing? You're going to explain what you're doing. Give us something to put on this week because...
The Delphiniums. These are some of these were crown buds from a couple of years ago. That you can see they're in 3 litres now.
18 months ago that would be.
Yeah. Won't be long. These would be, you're probably going to end up filming the square 7s going into 1s.
Yeah.
And these would have been these ones last year.
Yeah.
Going into 1s last year and then into 3s and
Yeah.
now we're ready to go into 5s.
I've got some down there, some square 7s to go on to 3 litre pots.
To 1s first.
Sorry, to 1s and then 3 litres. But these are just 12 months older.
Yeah.
It's a big clump, isn't it? They are a vigorous variety.
Yeah, they're
So you're getting them out of those shitty old pots there?
Yeah, getting them out of these 3 litres and just been a bit careful. I want rid of as much of the weed seed as I can, but obviously I don't want to knock off too much growth on them. It doesn't matter if they lose a few, as long as I'm not losing some of these stronger stems that are obviously going to be the flowering stems. I just have getting rid of as much of the weed as I can, because although it's got the time of year when it's nice to see everything else growing away, the weeds are as well.
Yeah, that's always the problem. And they don't come in pieces, do they? They come all in one big hit.
Yeah, so I mean the Delphiniums, Obviously you'd like to have been getting onto them a bit before now, but
When you stop farting about there, will you show us yourself potting one up then? Because people like to see you potting. I don't know why it is.
Finesse.
People like to see you potting something up. I think they like just looking at your face.
Oh well.
You're one of them kids. Are you one of them kids that used to, whenever they do anything, like draw something, have their tongue hanging out?
No, I've noticed myself. I drool a bit now. If I have my mouth open, it's just no. There's a bit.
Does that depend what you're watching?
Depends what's. No, I can't say that, can I? I used to always stick my tongue out. When I was younger, I used to do horse riding, and I always used to have my tongue out, and I had to stop because I kept biting it.
Yeah. Oh, God. My oldest son Shane, he whenever he drew, he had his tongue hanging out. You know, like he was really into it and studying. And I've noticed lots of children like it.
No, not so much now. Depending on what I'm doing, there is one activity where I'm drooling and my tongue stuck out. Do Master Doodle, of course, I'm referring to.
I saw there's one that's half done down on the table.
Yeah.
I can't do. I don't know what you have to do, but so go on then.
It's funny that because it's the sort of thing really. Sudoku and crosswords, they are more for your age range. But I don't know why.
You mean like incontinence pads?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
It's just like for you when you're on the toilet for the 20th time during the day. You sat down there, it's just give you some little activity to pass the time.
I don't bother sitting there anymore. I just go where I stand. I saw these knickers advertised on the. Have you ever seen them? They're called giggle knickers.
No.
I sent Clara a link to them in case she needed them. Apparently they're for like any spillages or leakages.
Oh, yeah.
I've never heard of them.
I'm glad you said that. You have to be very careful how you say that, don't you?
Well, yeah. Yeah, but I'd never seen it. I was on some. It was a Daily Telegraph, and then this big sort of banner thing came up saying giggle knickers.
You know those banners? They relate to what your search history's been. You know, they're advertised based. Yeah.
I've never looked for knickers.
Are you sure?
I didn't know that.
Because when you agree to cookies, they can advertise based on your previous searches. So I think you've dropped yourself in it there.
Oh God! Right.
That's why I always get these banners advertising penis enlargement pills. It's the same thing.
I thought you and John were cut from the same cloth.
No, I've got a full head of hair.
I'm going to have a look along the wall. Are you coming? Yeah.
You'd probably have had your muffler on.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
but
you're going to get people in the comments saying the sound quality's not.
Yeah. Well, probably.
These were some rhododendron liners from last year. All this coming on. They're obviously going to be absolutely full of flowers. Some of these. It's going to be little crackers. We've got that Scarlet Wonder or Baden, which is a red one, which is lovely. Ginny G's a lovely cream with a sort of pink blush to it.
Yeah.
And the macros are purple, and they're just. Because to be honest, before I think it's week 20 when we're due our shrub liners, everything here that you'll see on the wall won't be here anymore.
No, it's all got to come off. The camellias are looking rather good actually. Look at these buggers in flower. That one over there, the flower's bigger than the bloody plant. I'm going to call this a day. It's too windy.
Yeah.
Never mind. We'll do it for next time.
It's an absolutely gorgeous spring day today. It's really lovely. It's mild and sunny, and I'm just in the roadway that leads through to the gardens alongside Eggleston Hall, and every year this bank is just absolutely full of blooming daffodils, and they're just about starting to make their presence felt at the moment. They're so lovely. They're such a cheerful sight. So I think Poetry Corner today has to be really William Wordsworth and his Ode to Daffodils. I think Helen Williamson actually said this was one of her favourite poems, so I hope you like it, Helen, and everybody else too. Thank you. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margins of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils.
What are you doing, Bo? Is it leaking? You can move, you know. Put your hood on then. Yes, you can. Try harder. That's it. Pull it off. Well done.